Okay, so Maverick's at the hospital still. Already up to $800 and climbing. I got disqualified for some reason from Pet Care Credit and from Wells Fargo. My credit's pretty good. I don't have any outstanding balances or bills. I don't have bankruptcy. I don't own anything. I don't have any mortgages or anything out that should disqualify me. But they don't like the fact that I only make a net of like $10,000 a year. I'm poor. I make $200 a week. It's not a joke. But they won't even give you a credit line to cover $1,000. And I should have known, because every time a credit card company offers me a credit card, the interest is like 29.99% or 36.99% interest. That's ridiculous. And this one was offering 12.99%. So I'm like, oh, jackpot, my credit must be really good now. I just had some repairs made on my credit report this past spring because there was stuff on there that was wrong. Everything's all messed up. Like, it's almost like it's done purposely. I feel like I'm being persecuted here. I'm not able to get credit cards or I can't get a rent. I can't get a car. I can't get a loan. I can't get a mortgage. I can't get any line of credit, but I make okay money. I have no debt, and my credit score is like 680 or something like that. So why can't I get anything? That doesn't make sense. And then when I look at my credit report, there's always errors on it. I keep reporting it and fixing it. They keep putting jobs from like 2010, 2011, jobs that I was like maybe at for a month, like as my income. My employee, it's all messed up. They don't have my actual employers on there. Even the past 5 years. They're going back to when I was in my 20s. How does this happen? How could they screw someone's credit up so bad and have all this wrong information? Then there was errors on there, stuff that I never even owned or paid off. So I don't understand how that's on there, because it wasn't even supposed to be on my report. So I had to report that. Then there was stuff that I paid off and closed out a long time ago that should have been removed from my credit score a long time ago. And it was there, making my credit look bad way longer than it should have. So I paid off all my debts in the past, car loans. I have, 2 or 3 repos on there. I think 2 repos on there. But that, nobody cares about why they were repoed. It wasn't even my fault. It was a screw up with Wells Fargo or whatever one time. And then they wouldn't give me my car back without trying to charge me the rest of the car loan, $14,000. I'm like, I don't have $14,000 to give you. Give me my car. Like, you shouldn't have towed it. It wasn't even late. But they got away with it, and they took the car, and then I had to finish paying the rest of the bill off anyway on a car I had only had a few months, and then they towed it, repossessed it on me for what they thought was a delinquent payment, and then they wanted to charge me $4,000 before I can get the car out of the garage, and I'm like, it never should have been towed in the first place, and so I ended up losing a new car that I was paying like $500 a month on, and then I never got it back, and then I ended up having to pay for that car anyway. And that also happened with the GMC later on. I ended up being late on one payment, and they towed it on me while I was on vacation. It was actually crossed in the mail. I sent it out before I went to Florida, and it was late, so they sent a tow truck to tow my car when I wasn't around. Unbelievable. Because if they look at that you had a problem in the past, they never forgive you. They automatically assume that you're going to have a problem again. And here, the other thing is, they don't even care if you're going to pay. They want you to default. They'll make you default so that they can take the car back and resell it again, and you're stuck paying the loan. Even if it's an error on them, they don't care. They'll still say, oh, well, you still got to pay the tow fees and this and that. And it's like, but you screwed up. You're the one that did it. I'm telling you, this world is evil, and it is against me. And I mean that. I swear that the devil is constantly trying to ruin me. Every time I have a buck saved, something happens. I was just trying to help Donna fix the house around here, and now the dog is costing me thousands, over $1,000 already, and climbing. And I already dumped $2,000 into the dog since I got it. Okay? And now it's another $1,000 bill. And that's all I had saved. So now I have nothing to fix my car, which needs repair. Nothing to help Donna with the house now. I got to tell the contractor to forget it and hope he didn't buy the supplies, because I can't afford to pay him now. Because this friggin' dog had to get sick. And he was sick since I got him. And I kept calling the people I got him from saying, there's something very wrong with this dog. Oh, no, he's fine. Try this, try that. Oh, that's weird. Oh, well, give him some time. And he got sicker and sicker and sicker, and now he's in the hospital. Now, I'm stuck paying bills I can't afford to pay for a dog I rescued. I tried to save a life. And now this is what I have to get. I get kicked in the teeth and have to pay thousands of dollars that I don't have. Lord have mercy. But you know what? Here's another chance. I just spent over an hour doing a holy hour with the Lord today. I went to the dentist, and then I was driving by the church, and I was going to go to work on time today, since I was already running almost a little bit late, but I could have gotten there on time. But something told me, a little voice saying, go to church. You're passing it, go there and get confession right now. And I'm like, well, I do need to, but I could do it on Saturday. And all of a sudden, my hands just turned the wheel, and I hit the gas real fast, and I end up turning into the church, and I'm like, okay, I guess we're going to the church. And so I went there, and the priest happened to be sitting there doing nothing. He's like, oh, I could take your confession. So we had a great confession. Then I went, and he left me in the church alone, and he left. And it was just me and Jesus in the church for almost 2 hours. And I cried, and I poured my heart out to the Lord, and I just told him everything, I'm sorry for this or that, give me a chance, help me, whatever. And I prayed the Chaplet of Divine Mercy. I haven't done that in a while. And that was it. And I felt so much better. And then all of a sudden the sun just came shining onto the tabernacle. And the place was glowing with radiating. It was dark when I was there, dark, dimly lit, no lights. And then all of a sudden it was glowing. And I felt better. I'm like, Lord, I trust you. All I can do is leave it up to you. And then, of course, the dog takes a downhill spiral, and so I had to rush out of work and bring the dog to the hospital, and now he's there, and it's been hours now, and I tried to get the Care credit card, and I'm getting declined. I can't get a credit card. I can't get Wells Fargo. I can't get Pet Care credit, and my credit's fine, and they will not give me a line of credit. So I have to use my savings, and it's already up to $1,000 now. And almost $1,000, and they're not even done yet. And they wanted the money up front before they would even do the test necessary. So they'll literally let your dog die unless you pay them. It's sick. And they're like, are you sure you have money? I'm like, yes, I have the money. I wouldn't have brought the dog if I didn't have the money. Well, why don't you try this? I'm like, I don't need a credit card. I have the cash. Just keep it under $1,000 or whatever. Let's just figure out what's wrong with the dog. The dog's emaciated. It was dehydrated. It's not eating or drinking. It's sick. It's just been getting worse. And so I'm like, you need to figure out what it is. They think he has a blockage or something. He might have eaten something. We don't know. So I will find out now. They're going to do x-rays, and they're going to do blood work and all that. And then they're going to tell me, okay, that's over. They took the $800 already as a down payment. And then they said, well, we'll have to, if it goes over $1,000, we'll have to work with you. And I'm like, let's hope it doesn't go over $1,000, because it's all I have left in my life. And it was supposed to fix the car, and I was supposed to pay the contractor to help Donna around the house. Now I'm going to be out of money again. I only make $200 a week. I knew I shouldn't have gotten this dog, but the dog was supposed to be cheap, and I was saving a life, and Donna wanted a dog, I wanted a dog, the guy I work for wanted a dog, and I'm like, oh, you know what, let's just get a dog, let's save a life and do something nice, and it might enhance our life around here. But this dog has been nothing but sick and trouble since the day I got him. And it's like, if you don't keep him in a cage constantly, the minute he's out of the cage, he's jumping on the table, jumping on the furniture, trying to eat jewelry, eating everything in sight, ruining everything in sight, pooping and peeing everywhere, diarrhea all the time, won't eat dog food. I've tried everything. I've got vets working on it. Nobody can figure out why this dog is the way he is. And he's been getting sicker and sicker and sicker. So the dog was already sick before I got the dog. And I tried calling the place that I got the dog from, and I kept telling him, listen, something's wrong with the dog. I used to be a veterinary technician myself. I know what I'm talking about. This isn't just anxiety or getting used to his environment or a matter of a change in food. This is something wrong. And it's been going, and the dog's emaciated now, and he eats like an elephant, and yet the past 3 days he won't eat or drink anything, and yet he started vomiting up so much water, like this yellow fluid, bile, that he's literally dehydrated dangerously, because what his body is doing is it's trying to, I don't know, vomit. It's taking all the fluids out of his body and throwing it up. The dog has never drank that much in his life, and yet he's throwing up bowls of water, and I know he hasn't drank anything in days. So that something's shutting down, and he just looked so sad. He looked at me, and he was so sad, and he didn't want to leave my side, and he just was like, and he's just gaunt, and I was like, this is terrible. I got to take him to the hospital, and they're nervous now. They don't know if it's his pancreas, something ruptured. It could be something called bloat. It could be cancer. We don't know. So now I got to do all this stuff to figure it out. It's like having a child, And the poor dog, he's young, he's cute, and he was just I thought he was starting to come along, but it turns out it's just that he's been getting so sick that he hasn't been being disobedient, he hasn't been running off anymore, because now he's not moving at all. So I'm like, oh, you're finally listening, you're finally starting to learn. No, it's because he's losing energy and he's like shaking and sick. So why can't I even just get a dog without having a problem? Like the last time I got a dog, 20 years ago, the thing cost me $10,000 within the first 2 weeks, because it ended up in an incubator in a hospital for 2 weeks. It was taken away from its mother in a puppy mill too early, got very sick, heart problems, kidney problems, an open fontanelle, all kinds of stuff, and I had to pay $1,500 at the time for that dog in a pet store, and then the thing got so sick. But she turned out to be an amazing dog. But I was in debt for so many years for that dog. Then my girlfriend at the time brought another dog and I had 2 Chihuahuas. And he was diabetic. So the insulin every day, twice a day, cost me thousands a month. I mean, I just constantly get slammed with bills and debts. And it's like something's always going wrong. It's not normal. It's not normal. And so it doesn't matter how much I make or whatever, I can't hold on to it. Something's always breaking or getting sick or whatever, and then I get sick all the time. How many surgeries I've had, car accidents, like it's just constantly. So I should not have gotten the dog, but I'm like, how bad could it be? I'm financially okay right now, and I could use a little fun and love and somebody to go for walks with me and go to the beach with me, because I haven't gone anywhere this summer. And I'm like, when I go to the beach by myself, I look like there's nobody, like people act weird around me because I'm like by myself. And it's like when I go to swim with people, they all get out of the water like I'm some creep or pedophile or something. They're like, come on, and they take their kids and they pull their kids away. And it's like, because it is weird to have a guy my age just at the beach by himself, right? I should have a girlfriend with me or kids of my own or something, But people are just crazy. So I can't even just enjoy the beach. So I got the dog, and I'm like, okay, I'll bring the dog to the beach. When I go hiking, nobody likes to go hiking by themselves. Nobody likes to do anything by themselves all the time, and I'm always by myself, so I got a dog, okay? But now I'm paying for it. Now I am paying for it. I already didn't have enough to live as it was. They told me the dog was healthy. They told me all this stuff. It was all baloney. Baloney. Everything they said about this dog was a lie. Because this dog, as cute as he is, and I'm attached to him now, and he really could be sweet, and I know he's special needs. He's like definitely special needs. There's something wrong with this dog mentally. He's got anxiety. He's a lot of maintenance. But that's what I do. I take care of people. I've always been in the medical field, veterinary, elderly, senior care, lifeguarding, terrorist training, all that stuff. I've always been in the caregiving field of one way or another. I've taken care of so many sick and dying people in my life. And it's like, so I figured, okay, I don't want this dog to go to a bad home. I'll give him a good home and a good life. At least I'll know he's safe and not being abused anymore. But the damage was done. So no, I would not have taken this dog had I known all of the problems and why people didn't want this dog. They don't tell you why. They're just in such a rush to, oh, here, adopt him, he's great. Yeah, right. I asked them, is he housebroken? I asked them, is he well? I asked them, is he any kind of mental problems or behavior problems? Oh, no, he's sweet. Oh, he's this. Well, then he's such a good-looking dog, why does nobody want him? Why has he been bounced from home to home? Now I know why. He is like Dennis the Menace with rabies. But I even throw holy water at him, and that works. But I got him now, and I'm not going to give up on him and send him back because he's attached to me now. And it's like, I'm trying to grow in virtue and say, okay, I need to learn patience and love and mercy and tolerance. And if I'm going to have kids one day, which is probably not, I can't be yelling at them every time they have a dirty diaper or they break something or eat something, right? So I just got to get used to... So I'm trying my parenting skills now. Trying to grow in patience. It's okay, you pooped all over the bed again. Not a problem. Even though I don't have any more sheets, it's okay. Aren't you cute? You know? But after a while, it's like, dog, if you weren't already dying, it's like... So, and then I'm like, Donna, you deal with it. I can't. Or I put him in the cage because it's just like, after a while, it's just nonstop. He'll jump on the table while we're eating and snatch a steak off your plate real fast before you even know what hit. This dog jumps high, he's fast like lightning, and he's a thief. And he will literally, like, I have gates up all over the house. You can't even move from room to room. He will watch, and he could be 10 feet away. And by the time you open that gate and try to get through the gate and close it, he's out through the gate or over it. Like, he's lightning speed. But the past couple of days, I knew something was wrong because he hasn't even been attempting it. He's just been mush and not doing anything. I'm like, something's wrong. And then the vomiting and all this other stuff. And so, yeah, he's probably really sick. I hope I don't have to put him down, the poor thing. But I can't afford thousands of dollars. If it goes over $1,000, I don't know what I'm going to do. And it would be real nice if the people at the adoption place in Tennessee not only took him back, but gave me my money back. Because $550 for what? Plus another almost what? $1,200, $2,000 already on all these foods and all these special things he needs and gates and crates and all this stuff. And it's like it's never enough. And I spoil my animal. I like to... before we got him, I already had like a baby room set up with everything he could possibly need. Stuff I probably shouldn't have bought. But I just wanted to make sure the dog had a really good life and a smooth transition, and it was like a baby was coming. You know how you get the nursery all ready, and you want to make sure you get all the stuff and everything's ready. And we were excited. And then all of a sudden, Rosemary's Baby shows up. It was The Exorcist. And I'm like, what did I do? So, hindsight's 20/20. But you know what? I tell people, especially Christians, watch your mouth. Because people had to say negative things before I even got this dog. And what do you think happened now? Oh, you're going to have problems. You can't afford it. What if he gets sick? Blah, blah, blah. The dog's going to be a nightmare. Don't do this. Blah, blah. Nobody said anything nice. It was just curse, curse, curse. Negative, negative, negative for 2 weeks before I got the dog. And then what do you know? It manifested. Why can't people shut their mouths? If you don't have something nice and positive to say, shut up. You're not the one that has to deal with it. You could have said, I'll pray for you, wishing you well, it's going to be great, you're going to love the dog, everything. Oh, no, all I heard from my fellow churchgoers and other people, oh, stupid you don't even have enough money to take care of yourself. How can you take care of a dog? You don't even have your own home. This is bad. What if the dog gets sick? What if the dog turns out to be... Well, thank you very much for your curses. I rebuke you in Jesus' name, but it's a little late. Everything you said happened. So thank you. You want to give me $1,000 now for vet bills because you got a big damn mouth? Watch your tongue. You can bless people or curse people with your tongue. I don't care if you're an atheist. You were made in God's image and likeness, and the Bible says, watch what you say. In fact, you got to watch your thoughts. Because as much as a man thinketh he is, so is he, the Bible says. So if you sit there with negative thoughts all the time, thinking in your heart, in your mind, that you're a bad person, you're ugly, you're fat, you're sick, whatever, it's going to manifest. Thought creates. Words create. When a word comes out of your mouth, it's out there into the universe, and it will create a ripple effect, for good or bad. So that's why Jesus said, a wise man speaks few words, and if you don't have something nice to say, don't say anything at all. Because you're cursing people. Like you're cursing yourself, you're cursing other people, you're making people sick. You can kill somebody with your words. Yes. Why do you think prayer is so powerful? Why do you think witchcraft is powerful? It's your words. Because you were created in an image and likeness of God, so you've been given the power of the tongue. It is to be used for good, for preaching and exalting and extorting, and for, chastising and important things, edification, healing, life. Speak life. Choose life. People run around with their mouth is just nothing but maggots and death, proclaiming over everybody and everything, out of jealousy, out of envy, out of anger, out of hatred. Shut up. So thank you again, people, all of you out there who had nothing but negative things to speak over me about this dog from the minute you found out I was getting it. It's like I'm afraid to tell anybody anything, because all I ever get from my family, friends, everybody is nothing. Now the Bible also says not to worry. Worry is a sin. This is why. If you're going to sit there and worry about things before they even happen, this could happen, it could happen, it might happen, you'll never leave your house. You could fall down the stairs and get hit by a car. You're going to leave, you got to go to the store at some point, right? You're going to get on an airplane, oh, it might crash. Maybe it will, but you can't worry about it, or you'll never fly. And I'm terrified of flying, and I've been through plane crashes, but I still get back on them. I've fallen off horses, I get back on them. I've drowned, I still go in the water. You either let it paralyze you, or you keep on moving. That's it. And if you're a godly person, you don't need to worry so much, because you know that God is with you. So you give him your concerns and you let it go. He will control. Okay? So when people sit there, oh, well, I'm just worried for you, Stephen. Stop. Stop worrying. If you're that worried, save a little money and give it to me on a rainy day. How about that? If you really think I'm going to need money, put it aside for me. Don't sit there and say, oh, I don't know what you're going to do. Worry, worry, worry. It's not that I'm foolish. It's not that I don't worry either. I just don't make a big deal about it. You can't. The dog could have been the greatest thing that ever happened to us. Or it could have been a nightmare. It turned out to be a nightmare. It's almost like having a kid. You don't know if you're going to have a kid with autism or retarded or conjoined twins. You don't know what you're going to get until it's born. So you take a chance. You don't just not have kids because they might have a problem, or they might grow up to be a serial killer one day. It's not your fault. Or they might be gay. Who knows? You do it anyway, and you hope and pray for the best. But you don't sit there, oh, what if the baby's ugly? What if he's fat? What if he's sick? What if he's retarded? What if he's autistic? What if he turns out to be a serial killer? Why would you do that? I'm sure people do that, and that's probably why we have people in this world going out there slaughtering people, because their parents cursed them before the kid was even born. Everything out of my stepmother's mouth, and I actually had to ask the Lord today. I asked him again, I said, Lord, I forgive everyone who's ever hurt me, spoken curse over me, slandered me, kept me down in life, kept me from jobs, detracted from me, ruined my reputation, whatever. Got me run out of seminary. I forgive them all. People who tried to kill me, literally, I forgive them. I said, Lord, I have a lot to be forgiven for. So I'm asking you, especially for my family and friends, if any of them have sinned against me in any way, I don't want them to go to hell for their sins against me. So if they go to hell, I don't want it to be on account of me. Please forgive them and forget that they ever did anything to me. I forgive them, and I ask you, Lord, please forgive them and forget it. I don't want any of their sins. Like St. Stephen the martyr, when he was being stoned to death, the last words out of his mouth before he died, he said, Lord, forgive them. Okay? He said, Lord, forgive them. Do not count this sin against them. They were murdering him, and he said, Lord, forget that they're murdering me. Don't hold it against them. All right? So I know that God has much to forgive me for. And so do other people. So I always try to forgive everybody, everything, and I even asked God. I begged him with tears in my eyes today. I was kissing the floor, and I said, Lord, please don't let any of my family or friends or anyone who's ever hurt me, do not hold their sins against them, please. And I'm hoping that he'll forgive me more also, my sins, because I have many to be forgiven for, if I'm forgiving others, okay? And I would hate that someone doesn't make it to heaven or has to burn in purgatory for 2,000 years on account of me, something they did to me. So I ask Jesus all the time, Lord, I'm hurt, I'm angry, people messed up my life, but forgive them. Don't even remember that they did it. On Judgment Day, we're all going to have a lot of stuff to be accountable for, and things that we did, that we have to be forgiven. So please, Lord, I don't want to add to their list. So I ask you to absolve my family, my enemies, my friends, the people at seminary, everybody, of anything they've ever done to me. I forgive them, Lord, of every sin against me. Please forgive them also. And then I hope that they will forgive me one day, anything I did to them. So if we don't start having that attitude of forgiveness, literally no matter what, we're not going to be forgiven. And I have a lot to be forgiven for. I've hurt a lot of people in my life, whether intentionally or unintentionally. I ask forgiveness. I've hurt the Lord. I let him down all the time. I need his forgiveness. So I asked him today, I said, Lord, if anybody has sinned against me in any way in my life, please forgive them their sins against me. I forgive them, and I want you to erase it from your memory as if they never did it to me. Because they're going to have enough stuff on Judgment Day against them. I don't want the things they've done to me to also be on their file on Judgment Day. Because I don't want somebody in hell or purgatory on account of me. And I don't want to go there either. So I'm hoping that God will be merciful and forgive everybody everything. And then God will forgive me because I've forgiven. I always forgive everybody everything, because at the end of life, at the end of our day, hell is forever, and I don't want anybody there. I don't care what you did to me. I don't want you in hell on account of me. So I hope people forgive me for anything I've ever done, because we sin all the time against people. We don't even realize it. Our words can curse people and hurt people. Okay, they're powerful. So we have a lot to be forgiven for. And when you go to confession and you try to make an examen of conscience, you realize there's a lot that you just can't remember. And that's why I was telling the Lord, I was crying today at church during my holy hour, because I'm like, Lord, I tried to make a good confession today, but I cannot remember everything. There's so many things I do wrong, even though I don't intend to. I can't possibly remember it all, but I would. If I could remember, I would confess it publicly. It doesn't matter how bad, how embarrassing it is, how shameful, I would confess it. But I can't remember. So for these and all sins, that even the ones I can't remember, I'm sorry. And then I realized it still wasn't enough for the Lord. When I was spending about almost 2 hours with him today, I realized, I'm like, Jesus, I love you. Like my father. I love you as my own father, Lord, but I hurt you all the time. I am nothing but a hypocrite, a Judas. I'm a terrible Christian, Lord, and I try to be holy, but what's wrong with me? I'm not going to give up trying, but what is wrong with me? I know what I shouldn't be doing, and I go and do it, but I don't do the things I should do, like St. Paul said. So I was begging the Lord, I'm like, Jesus, please, you save me yourself. You help me. You give me the grace to change my heart and change me from whatever I'm doing that you don't like. Take away. Please, because I'm going to end up in hell. I know it. Without your help, I'm going to end up in hell. So I begged the Lord for forgiveness. I asked him to forgive others. I begged him to help me, to restore my heart, to make me a holy person, because I'm not. I might be a good preacher, but what good is it if I don't make it to heaven? And I'm not out here trying to be a hypocrite. I'm not a liar. But, when we fail, we fail. We all sin. So we shouldn't be throwing stones when we're all living in a glass house and we all have sin. So anyway, if you're just tuning in, please pray for me because the dog is in the hospital and it's already racking up to almost over $800 already and climbing in bills. And I don't have a credit card. I can't get approved for care credit. I can't get approved for anything. We tried. And if this dog needs serious help, I'm not going to be able to help him. I'm going to have to put him down. Because I just don't have the money. And it's sad. It is really sad. And you know what? They do that to people too. It is sad that nobody respects life in this world, not an animal and not a human. I've seen people be told to go home and die because they didn't have enough money for the treatments they needed. Now, doctors take an oath to heal people. I know that they need money and stuff, but at the end of the day, why did you become a doctor if you're going to let people die if they don't have money? Like, you're supposed to be doing this not for the money, but because you have the power and knowledge to save lives. Okay? Once they're dead, eternity's forever. Why would you say, oh, I'm sorry, try to get the money, if not, I guess we're just going to have to pull the plug, or I guess you're not going to get the surgery. And they do it all the time. That should be illegal. There's got to be a way. Life should be preserved. And even for my dog. And that's why my other two dogs had to be put down prematurely back in 2016. My paycheck didn't clear. Something went wrong, and I didn't have the paycheck in my bank account on that Friday. Somebody screwed up, or they left early in HR, and they didn't give me my money on time, so I had to wait past the weekend. Okay, they did that often to me at that job. It wasn't fair, and so I couldn't go shopping or do anything on the weekend because my paycheck wasn't there. Well, the dogs needed to go to the hospital. It was an emergency. They needed blood work. So they took the dog and they did all this blood work on my dog. And it was about $480. And I knew I had the money, but my paycheck was like $800 at the time. And so I went to go get the money out of the ATM and it wasn't enough. So the doctor said, oh, well, I'm going to throw the blood away. We're not going to figure out what's wrong. We're not going to do anything further. I'm not going to send the blood in. I'll just have to wait until Monday when you get paid. Come back with the money, pay us in advance, and then we'll do the blood work again. And I'm like, the dog is already very sick and dying. You took 20 vials of blood. You're just going to waste the blood and throw it away? Now the dog is anemic for nothing? Send the thing in. I'm telling you, I will have the money by tonight. No, we can't do that. Well, the dog ended up getting so sick. Over the next couple of days, she had to be put down. We'll never know what it was, but it could have been something simple as antibiotics. It could have been something we won't ever know because they threw her blood away and would not just trust me that I would make good on the cash. It was only $480. It wasn't $4,000. And then they still billed me for it. So after my dog died, the next day, I went in there and I said to them, I want to see the doctor and the receptionist. And I said, here's the $480 that I owed you, okay? That I didn't have a couple days ago. I told you I had it. I told you I would pay you. I'd make good as soon as I got my check cleared. Well, okay, so let's just bring the dog back in and we'll get the blood work done. I'm like, I can't. She's dead. And the girl started crying, and the doctor's like, well, sorry. And I'm like, I'm sorry? That's it? I'm sorry? That dog I had for 15 years, okay? She was my kid. You know how much, that was my life. You're sorry. You could have run the tests so I could have at least knew what was going on. Now I'll never even know what killed her. If she was dying of an infection, pancreatitis, diabetes, cancer. We'll never know because you were too much about money. And here's your freaking... And I told him, I said, this is blood money. Eat it. There's a hell for people like you. My dog is dead, and there's nothing you can do about it now. Over $480, which I told you I would bring you the next day. But you wouldn't even save a life because of $400. $400. You wouldn't treat my dog in an emergency because I didn't have the money up front. Shame on you. Why are you a vet? You don't care about saving animals' lives. Doctors don't care about people. It's all about the money. They want to see the money up front. And that's what they just did to me tonight. Well, you're going to have to give us $800 right now because that's how much it's already costing right now. And we didn't even run all the tests yet. So give us the $800 now on your card, and then we'll call you back before we do anything further and let you know how much you're going to need. So it's like, okay, so now we're going to be over to almost $1,000, and they're going to call me up and let me know what to do next. And eventually, I'm going to run out of my savings. I have like very little left. So what happens if they call me back and say I need another $1,000 to save my dog tonight? I don't have it. I couldn't get qualified for Care Credit or for Wells Fargo or for credit cards, even though my credit's good. I can't get anything. I haven't been able to get a car loan, a mortgage, a personal loan, nothing. Something's wrong here. My credit's good. But because there's stuff on there going back 10 years from repos and stuff, I have 680 credit. But yet I can't get a credit card or a mortgage or a rent or a lease or anything. What is wrong with this situation? So I feel like it's personal. I really do feel that the government literally finds people like me, and there's many of us, and makes it so we cannot survive, so we can never get credit, so we can never get a home or anything. It's like they keep you down, poor and oppressed. That's Satan. And if you don't think Satan's behind all this, you're wrong. He's behind all money. Money is the root of evil in this world because you see the things people do over money. They will kill you for money. They'll let you die over money. It's all about money. And it's kind of funny because I'm poor, but I am throwing my money out to people. Probably a stupid thing to do, but I'm very generous. All the poor people I know are very generous, and which is why we're poor. We'll never be rich because we're always giving our money away. You're absolutely right. But you know what? Rich people, you stupid rich snobs, you're going to go to hell with all your money. It's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich person to enter the kingdom of heaven. That's God's word. And that's why. Because you only care about money, and you'll let people and animals die if you don't get your money. You don't care about people or animals in the medical industry. You only care about money. And you overprice everything. Something that should cost 10 cents costs $100. You sit there and you squeeze the dog's butt and abdomen. Oh, that's $200. I did an exam. What do you have, x-ray eyes? All you did was feel the dog. Well, his vitals are good. $400. $400. You stuck a thermometer in the dog's butt and you squeezed his abdomen. Oh, looked at his gums. Oh, he's good. Then I tell you how sick he is. And we better do x-rays then. I didn't know all that. You're not going to know all that just by squeezing the dog on a table and charging me that kind of money because you're a vet. How many people have you already ripped off in your career? Whatever. People can go to hell, honestly. I'm really fed up. Save my dog. Okay? Save my dog. And rich people, start helping people with your money. Because you're going to die sooner than later. And you can't take it with you. And it's going to go to people who don't deserve it and didn't earn it anyway. It ain't going with you. So I suggest you start saving lives and feeding people and helping people and being generous. You don't need another mansion or an extra sports car or a bigger yacht or another plastic surgery. There's people out here starving, dying, can't get the medical need for ourselves, our kids, our pets. And you're sitting there all high and mighty on your high horse with your money. You could take your money and you could shove it where the sun don't shine. And that's coming from a Christian. God forgive me.